Hello, I'm Andrew. I'm one of the developers here at PTFS. And what's on my mind this week is CSS. Specifically, how you can use tools built into Google Chrome to very easily work with CSS within Koha and quickly identify how to make changes and what those changes will look like. I won't be talking about what CSS is or how it works, because there's far better videos on YouTube that talk about that. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are in a completely out-of-the-box Koha. There's been no changes made to this page at all. What we're going to imagine is that we want to make some changes to this page. This don't have an account area here. Perhaps we want to make it a bit bigger, perhaps a bit bolder, change the color, that kind of thing. Obviously the sort of thing that you would do with CSS. And we're going to use the Google Chrome tools to find out how to do that. So the very first step in using the Google Chrome tools is to open them, and you do that using the F12 key. And that opens this quite scary looking thing on the right here. Don't be scared, it's here to help you. And what it's showing us here in the default view is the HTML for the page. And what you can see when I move the mouse around is that there's some connection between the HTML on the right and the page on the left. And what that's doing is when you move over items within the HTML, the item on the page itself will be highlighted. So that makes it quite easy to look through the HTML, find an item, an element, and see where it is on the page. But maybe you don't want to look through all of this HTML and find the element on the page, and it could take forever. So handily, we have a button up here, select an element, to inspect it. So if we click that and then start moving the mouse over the page, you can see that each element, as I move my mouse over it, is being highlighted on the left, and it's also being displayed on the right. So if I select the area we're interested in, this don't have an account, if I click on that, you can see we've immediately been taken on the right here to the HTML for that element. So that makes it very quick and easy if you're looking on a page to find out what element is involved in a particular area. And if we cast our eyes down a bit, we can see what we're also seeing here is all the CSS that's applying to that element. So because I've got the paragraph tag here highlighted, we're seeing all the styles that apply to that paragraph. And so what we can see is that in OPAC CSS, we've got two styles here that look, because they're just applying to paragraph elements, they apply to every paragraph on the whole of Koha, and they're defining some margins. If we move down a bit, we can see there's another style here also coming from OPAC CSS, and that's applying to every element on the page. This is quite a common thing to do nowadays. That's just setting the default box sizing for every element. And if we scroll down a bit further, we can see that the browser itself, or the user agent, is actually applying styles itself. Every browser has its own style sheet that's applied before anything else. So we can see that the browser itself is applying these styles. And all these style definitions are combined, and the browser reconciles all the conflicting styles and styles coming in from here, there and everywhere, and it eventually ends up with what should be the final style, and that's what's displayed on the page. So what if you want to find out what the final style is? You can look through all of these and try and work it out yourself, but it's not at all straightforward. Fortunately, we can click on the computed tab here, and that will show us what were the final styles that were computed by the browser. So we can see the box sizing, we know where that came from, we saw it a moment ago, color, all the rest of it. If we wanted to see where a particular style comes from, if we just click on the style itself, we can see that this is coming from OPAC CSS, and it's a 16-point style, a 16 pixel font height, and we now know that that's coming from OPAC CSS. So if we just switch back to the styles tab, we can see that all the styles for this paragraph are being defined here. But maybe we don't want to change the styles just for this paragraph. Maybe we want to change them for the whole of the patron registration main area. So if I select that, we can see the styles that are specifically applying to that and potentially any descendants of this element. so any elements that are beneath it within the HTML. So if we want to try a new color, we can add a new style by just clicking the plus button here. I should just say at this point that we're not actually making any changes within Koha itself. There's no changes being made to the OPAC style sheet or the server itself. All we're doing is making changes within the browser. It's just a way of trying out changes, and then if you decide you like them, then you can copy them into Koha. So just be assured that we're not changing anything within Koha itself. So if I click on this plus here, we can create a new style rule. So you can see what it's created is a new style for the div with an ID of patron registration main, which is, as we look here, that's this element here. So it's created a new style for the selected element. And maybe we want to change the color to, say, red. So if I type in style for color red there, we can see the text for the don't have an account has changed. Maybe we don't like that color red. Maybe we want to choose a slightly different one. So if we click on the color picker, we can then just use that to choose a nicer color red. Let's go for that one. So you can see that we very easily just tried out some new colors on that one element. We've got a style that we can then copy and paste into our OPAC style sheet. And it was very easy and simple. So we want to make all the text in that element bold. So we just click next to the style we've already created, and that'll add a new line. So we might want to then add font weight bold, and we can see, oh, that's very nice. That's made it nice and bold and easy to see now. So that's a very easy way of just trying out styles. You can turn them on and off. I should have mentioned that. You can, if you don't like them, you can turn them, so see what it looks like if you turn them on and off. And you can also do that with pre-existing styles. So for example, this style here that comes from OPAC CSS, maybe I want to see what it looks like without this padding top. If I uncheck that, you can see it's moving, it's removing that padding top. Just, you know, it makes it very easy just to see what different changes make. And as I said, you're not making any changes on Koha itself. It's all just within this browser. So once we're happy with our changes, we can then literally just copy and paste them to our clipboard, and then go over to our OPAC CSS within Koha and just paste them in there. That's a very quick introduction into how to use some of Koha's, some of Chrome's dev tools for CSS, just to make life a bit easier. I hope it was useful, and thanks for watching.